Uh, yeah.
And I'm very excited to speak to you all. I have some family that lives in the area. They are from Port LaHash, Louisiana, and then also I have family who's from Biloxi, Mississippi. I know you know where that is. And yes, Port LaHash is as small as it
Just
sounds.
down the road. That's where my son people from. Phoenix, David.
See,
Come
people
on
from
now.
the area, because when you say it to other people, they look at you like, what? What is that?
Oh, oh
Um,
yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah, let's start with you because I feel like, I had a chance to speak to Tracy a little bit, but I really want to hear from you as somebody who lives in that area, who's still dealing with the after effects, why
Mhm.
this is important, because I feel like we've had some other disasters and, world's a little crazy right now. We don't understand that 20 years later, there's still a need for us to have awareness and to help and to come to the area and spend money.
Yes. Yeah, I would think since it was the world's greatest disaster in that sense, like, well, the United States, I guess as far as money is concerned too, but the lives damaged. But I think it's really, really important people get to know like who we are as of now and how far we made it because it was one of those times where like a lot of us, including myself, was like, man, I don't know where I'm gonna regroup at. I don't know where I'm going at. I don't know where I'm gonna want to start a new life at. Like we had to think like that, you know what I mean? And so yeah, you see many storms come and go. And I think I mentioned it earlier, is like when they have storms in Florida, you don't hear nothing past the storm itself. And when it hit, they showed a little damage and they never have to go back to it because the response is on time. The FEMA, whatever, the funding is on time. Like it seemed like it was only a real problem with funding and all of those things because it was New Orleans, you know what I mean? And so yeah, you got to take that into account. And I mean, you got many different races that's in New Orleans. I mean, it's made up of everything. That's what Creole Cajun people are, from that area, So at the end of the day, it's like people still need to know what happened. And a lot of people learned from us, with storms that came after our storm. And so I just think it's one of those ones that's still leading the way as far as teachable moments. And not teachable maybe in a good way. It's kind of like these are the things you don't do if a storm happens. You know what I mean? Like, don't do this, don't do that, don't do what he did, don't do what she did. Even to myself. And like I'm gonna say, I'm so spiritual about it, but now, God will make you aware too. Like he wanted to put me through that storm. I don't think he wanted me to just go through many other storms just to be an example to his words. You know what I mean? Like that was my time, and that's what he wanted. That's where he wanted me to be for that. So, like he put me in place. I wasn't supposed to miss that storm because being a poet and a writer, I was meant to tell that story. That's it.
Absolutely. And Tracy, I think as a filmmaker, it's a tough thing, right? Because you want to remain objective because you want the people to tell the couple approaches to this, right? You want the residents to talk about that. And at the same time, you want to show why this is still something that we need awareness of. So what was your overall approach to making sure you kept the residents' voice, but at the same time showed that it's the problem is way bigger and it began before the levees broke.
Yeah, I think my background is in journalism and I always have kind of wrestled with the idea of like journalistic objectivity only because we are human beings and so we bring our whole selves to whatever it is that we do. And so I think the work is to kind of be aware of what you're bringing to it and then kind of set that to the side and let the search for the truth be kind of your guiding light. And so I knew that like I had a point of view that I was coming to this story with, just as someone who watched this unfold as we all did 20 years ago and understood there was something wrong with the way the people of this city were being portrayed. And as I began working on the series, I realized that the narrative that persisted at the time and to some extent persists until this day really kind of portrayed the story of the people of New Orleans as having descended into this sort of animalistic, predatory, kind of condition. And I just know as a Black person, like that's not how we do. So I allow my point of view to inform my curiosity in the search for the story that we were telling. And what emerged was what I expected. But even more than that, the extraordinary way that the people of this city, when they had every reason to completely fall apart, right, into the chaos that was happening, didn't. Of course, you had those people who are opportunists and do, as you hear Lynette Boutte say, stupid stuff when something like this happens. But it's the kind of stupid stuff that people sometimes do when their favorite sports team loses, right? But the story of the people of Katrina that emerged as we began to make the film and listening to people like Shelton is that these very, very close ties of community and kinship that people in New Orleans have, they did not break during Katrina. Now, later they were broken by the way that people were sort of forced to evacuate and many not allowed to return. But in the most acute moments of Katrina, people showed up for one another with care and concern and love and a deep faith that you see and hear from people like Shelton in the series. And so I kind of brought myself to the series and what I believe to be true, but I really just allowed that to inform my curiosity in the storytelling and allowed the story to kind of reveal itself as we began talking to Shelton and the other people who survived it.
Absolutely. Well, I think you did a great job. And Shelton, thank you for sharing your story with us and bringing and reminding us that the work is, not over and we still have work to be done. Thank you so much for your time, both.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great day.